welcome to Where is Bishop? Thanks for watching. I'll be back. This was from my Sven costume 2 years ago. Pew, 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 pew. For this Where is Bishop, we're going to learn about the Industrial Revolution and how all the stuff I just showed you was made possible by this time period in world history. Without it, our world would be totally different. Our objective for this video is to go over the importance of the Industrial Revolution and how it impacts our world today. This is a brief introduction to some of the major topics we'll be looking at during this chapter. The Industrial Revolution began in the 1700s. This was a time of great change where we see factories, machines, and products revolutionized. There are 3 ways that these things were changed. Looking at these changes or shifts below, we see farms are no longer going to be small independent farms. They are going to be massive factory compounds where you have groups of people working the farm and being employed by the factory, not the one farmer working the acres of land. Next, you have people move out of these small towns and rural areas, and are no longer farmers. They're going to work in cities that will be where these factories are located. So you have Boston, New York, New Haven, Hartford, and other major cities around the world. London, Paris are going to become mega centers of commerce and trade. And lastly, items no longer are going to be hand done. For example, clothing is not going to be hand stitched by a person at home. It is now going to be made in a factory at a faster and cheaper rate, and maybe for better or worse, better quality. So let's look at these small farms first. We have the evolution of farming going from the 3-field system where you take a break every other year of the crops and the nutrients that will be taken out of the soil, moving to a 3-crop rotation cycle, which you can see here is going to have the field be used every year, and a different item will be planted there in order to help maintain the nutrients. But eventually, for example, in America, we'll see this will have disastrous effects in the 1930s Great Dust Bowl. But until then, they as in the people during this time period, are going to, instead of giving the crop or field, a break, they're going to use different items each year. And you can see the diagram here. The Industrial Revolution begins in England for a couple reasons. First, banks had a lot of money to loan in order for factory owners to build their factories, their new products, and their new ideas. Secondly, natural resources were available in England, as you can read below, that allowed them to actually make the products. In order to have a successful industrial revolution, you have to have the 3 factors of production that are listed here. So if we take a look at these, let's look at my friend Olaf. Olaf obviously needed the necessary materials in order to make him. This would be the land for number 1. And according to his tag, he is made of polyester and plastic beads. That's what makes up his belly. In order for us to assemble, or the factory to assemble TY, Olaf, you need to be able to access these resources, pay for them, and assemble them. Secondly, you need to pay the workers in order to actually make the Olaf and work the machines that make him. And lastly, you need the capital, or the money, to raise the materials, money for the materials, to pay the workers, and then ship it to the mall where Bishop buys the Olaf. Funny factoid here, not many things, as you know, are made in the United States, but TY is definitely made in the United States out of Oak Brook, Illinois, USA. Go Olaf. So what are some other inventions that helped the Industrial Revolution thrive? We're going to look at 4 here. The first is the flying shuttle, the spinning jenny, the water frame, and lastly the cotton gin. These are all going to help revolutionize the clothing industry of the Industrial Revolution that then will be later moved on to other factories and other products made in these factories. The main objective for the Industrial Revolution was to get things out of the home, so you're not making things in your house anymore, you're now making them in the factories. And here are some primary source pictures of actual drawings and or the actual items themselves from local museums. These were taken in Massachusetts, in Lowell, Massachusetts, where they had a lot of factories. You can see the spinning jenny, and the cotton gin, and some other diagrams that will help you visualize how these items were made. Transportation arguably was one of the most important items for the Industrial Revolution. We have many to discuss, but we're going to focus on a couple. First, we have the steam engine that is going to allow people to travel faster and to travel farther distances. Canals are going to be used to ship the items made in the factories to the markets and eventually to people's homes. We have also roads that are going to be improved in order to allow, when Henry Ford revolutionizes the car industry with the assembly line, cars are now going to be able to travel longer distances and not just take back dirt roads. Of the three of these, arguably one stands out, and that is the train or locomotive. The train is going to impact the Industrial Revolution in four major ways that you can see here. Arguably, traveling becomes easier, and the idea of holiday and going away for long stints is going to be popular. New jobs are going to also be allowed to flourish during the Industrial Revolution. So again, those farmers no longer are farming, they're now going to become locomotive drivers and engineers, for example. In the end, this chapter will show us how we get cool items that allow us to have the comforts of the world we enjoy today with our flashy theme, Doctor Who adipose, and our hat. And now for Where is Bishop? If you think you know the Where is Bishop, please email me at whereisbishop@gmail.com.